Mrs. Kriplani from Kriplani Classes. If you are new to my channel, please like, share and subscribe my video. Today I'm going to explain to you exercise 1.3 of standard 9th geometry. Before I start that exercise, we'll have to understand the concept of what is a conditional statement and what is its converse. Students, let us now learn the concept of conditional statements and their converse. Now understand one thing. If any statement in geometry can be written in the if-then form, then those statements are called conditional statements. Now the part of the statement which is following if is called the antecedent, and the part of the statement following then is called the consequent. If the antecedent and the consequent in a given conditional statement are interchanged, then the resultant statement is called the converse of the given statement. I hope you got an idea of what is conditional statement. Conditional statement is nothing but a statement written in the if-then form. Let us take examples from exercise 1.3 to make these concepts more clear. Let us see one example before we start exercise 1.3. See this example. The diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Now if you want to write down the conditional statement of this statement, conditional statement means also in the if-then form. Now the conditional statement in the if-then form should have same meaning as the original given statement. Now what will come in the if part of this given statement? In the if part we'll mention only the name of the quadrilateral which is given in the center of the statement. So you must only mention that if the given quadrilateral is a rhombus, that will come in the if part. Then this remaining full sentence will come in the then part. That means the answer for conditional statement will be as follows. If a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then its diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Now if you want the converse of the given statement, then the then part will become the if part and the if part will become then part. In other words, the if and then part will be interchanged. Then we get converse of the given statement. Now the converse is not having same meaning as the conditional statement. When the teacher wants if-then form of the given statement, we have to give same meaning, that is only this answer. If you write down the other if-then form, you'll get wrong. Other if-then form is a converse of this given statement. Now what will come in the converse? Now in the converse, what is the then part over here will become the if part. In other words, in the if part we'll say if the diagonals of a quadrilateral, don't say diagonals of a rhombus, because the rhombus will come in the then part. The quadrilateral is a rhombus, that will come in then part. If the diagonals of the quadrilateral are perpendicular bisectors of each other, then it is a rhombus. See the answer. If the diagonals of a quadrilateral, don't mention rhombus here, because in the then part you have to mention it's a rhombus. If the diagonals of a quadrilateral are perpendicular bisectors of each other, then it is a rhombus. Now the conditional if-then form and the converse are two different meaning. You cannot, when teacher wants answer in if-then form of this given statement, you cannot give the converse as answer. You have to give this answer only, which is a conditional statement having same meaning as original given statement. And the converse is having an opposite meaning of the if-then form. Now in this example, the statement and its converse both are true, but it's not compulsory always that the given statement and the converse will always be both true. Any one can be false. It can even be false, but still it can be in the if-then form. Maybe the statement is true and the converse is false, or the statement is false and the converse is true. So in this particular example, both are true. Now let's see exercise 1.3. Now let us see practice set 1.3 from your textbook, page 11. The first question says, write the following statements in the if-then form. Now the first part, the statement is the opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Now if I want this answer in the if-then form, what will come in the if part? Only the name of this figure which is given in the center of this statement. That means in the if part we'll write only if the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Then part will come this full sentence. The answer will be like this. If a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then the opposite angles of that quadrilateral are congruent. Clear? See the next question. We only have to write the if-then form. Now don't write the converse of this as the answer for the if-then form. In the conditional form, we want if-then form having same meaning as the original sentence. So the converse of this will be marked wrong for you. See the next sentence. The diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Now the if part will only mention the name of this figure which is given in the center of the statement. That means we should only write down in the if part if a quadrilateral is a rectangle. In the then part we'll write down this full sentence. If a quadrilateral is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. It means diagonals of that rectangle are congruent. If the quadrilateral is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. See the third part. In an isosceles triangle, the segment joining the vertex and the midpoint of the base is perpendicular to the base. Now the if part will only mention that the given triangle is an isosceles triangle. If the triangle is an isosceles triangle, then in the then part you will copy the same full sentence till the end. See the answer. If a triangle is isosceles triangle, then after then we are writing the same original statement copying from here. Then the segment joining the vertex of the triangle and the midpoint of the base is perpendicular to the base. Is it very clear? This is exercise 1.3 first question. I have put one extra question which is then the problem set. See this extra question. Every rhombus is a square. Now every rhombus is a square. Now what will come? The if part will only come that the given quadrilateral is a rhombus. Only the name of this figure comes in the if part. If a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then it is a square. If the given statement is already in the if-then form, then it becomes. Now let us see question 2 of exercise 1.3. Now in this question 2, we have to write the converses of these given statements. Now remember one thing, you cannot directly write the converse of this given statement unless you first write the statement in the conditional form. That means you have to first write this sentence in the if-then form and then interchange the if-then form to get the converse of the given statement. Let us see how we do that. The given statement says the alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal are congruent. Now if I write this in the if-then form, what will come in the if part? What is given in the center is given, we are talking about two parallel lines and their transversal. So that will come in the if part, the two parallel lines and their transversal. And the remaining part will come in the then form. So this statement in the if-then form will be written as follows. If two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, then the alternate angles so formed by them are congruent. Whenever you talk about parallel lines, immediately mention that they are intersected by a transversal. So in the if part we should say if two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, then the alternate angles so formed by them are congruent. Now how do we make the converse of this given statement? Now the teacher does not want this conditional form, she directly wants the converse. So you first make this sentence in if then form in your mind and now interchange this sentence. Now in the converse, the then part will become the if part and the if part will become the then part. So in the converse we'll say if the alternate angles formed by two lines, do not say two parallel lines, because the two parallel lines will come in the then part. The two parallel lines here is given in the if part, so now the two parallel lines will go in the then part. So say the alternate angles formed by two lines and their transversal are congruent, then those two lines are parallel. You understand? This then part becomes the if part and the if part becomes a then part and you get the converse. Same way, see the third question of this second part. The given statement says the diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Now this sentence is not in the conditional form. First make this sentence in the conditional form. That means make this sentence in the if then form. Then only you will be easily able to get the converse of this statement. Now what will I write in the if part of this when I write in the if then form? Now in the middle you are talking about a rectangle. So the if part will say, only we say if the given quadrilateral is a rectangle, then the diagonals are congruent. So the conditional form will be written as follows. If a quadrilateral is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. Now to write the converse, this is same as the given statement. This is the conditional form of the given statement. So this statement is same as the given statement. Now we want converse of the given statement, means make converse of this statement. Now when you make converse of this, the then part will become the if part and the if part will become the then part. So what will we write down in the if part? In the if part we'll say if the diagonals of a quadrilateral are congruent. Don't say diagonals of a rectangle, because in the then part we have to say the quadrilateral is a rectangle. So do not mention rectangle in the if part here. We'll just say if the diagonals of a quadrilateral are congruent, then that quadrilateral is a rectangle. You got it? How do we make the converse? We cannot make the converse unless we first make the if then form. Now the second part of this question is more easier, so I'm doing that in the end because it is already in the if then form. If the sentence is already in the if then form and you want the converse, just interchange the then part and if part, you will get the converse. But the given statement is saying if a pair of interior angles made by a transversal of two lines are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. Now the given part, there are two lines. Then part, the lines are parallel. Now this then part becomes the if part. So the if part will mention the two lines are parallel and are intersected by transversal. In the then part we'll say the pair of interior angles made by them are supplementary. Now in the if part I will say if two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, then a pair of interior angles so formed by them are supplementary. So this is how you can write converse of the given statement. Now remember that the converse and the given statement are not one and the same. The given statement is different from the converse. So when the teacher wants the statement in the if then form, you have to write this answer. When the teacher wants the given statement converse of the statement, then you have to interchange. Both are not the same. You cannot write any one of these in the exam. When teacher wants answer in if then form, you cannot give any one of these. You have to give the if then form of the given statement and then you interchange the if then form, you get converse of the given statement. Now explain exercise 2.2, the full chapter 2. If you have any doubts in the problem set in similar questions, you mention them in the comment box, then only I will solve your doubts of that question. See you again. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe my channel if you like it. Goodbye. See you again.